Big up. Hello. Good evening. Good night. I've just found something really cool. It's a sidechain. So this, if you're already familiar with sidechaining, and you've watched my streams, you might have seen me use Duck Buddy, and it's a simple volume envelope that's triggered every time a kick is triggered with MIDI. And that looks like, where is it? There it is. This is what I've been using in everything. Duck Buddy. So you choose the MIDI, you choose what's gonna trigger it. You know, you put this on your bass. There's my bass. And you choose, well, let's call this kick, so we know what's going on. It's easy, 8. How you doing? I'll call this bass. It's easier when you label things. Okay. So bass. This is what I used to use to do sidechaining, and it's worked really well for me. I've been using it for a couple of years, maybe now. It's got look ahead, which is a must-have in a sidechaining plugin. So yeah, and I've been using this extensively in my tunes, and it works really well. It's sometimes a bit buggy. I think it's Max for Live that might have these bugs, and Ableton, because they still exist for sometimes, but the rate is okay. It's usable. And you get this kind of shaping where if I mute the kick, you can see where the kick was, and it's basically being volume shaped out using this curve. So if I change this curve, so it's like that, you'll see that change reflected there. And yeah, and so I've gotten so used to using that. I've made so many tunes with it, and like with sidechaining, there's always like a trade-off of how much your song is going to pump so that your kick is really clear and your snare is really clear. So after using it for ages, I find balances. So my main aim when using a duck is to reduce the amount of headroom that a kick takes up, because when you've got a kick and a bass overlaid with no ducking at all, you look at the shape of this, right? It doesn't look that bad, but if I mute the bass, watch the shape of this kick change. So that's just the kick. So if I want to preserve just the shape of this kick without the phase being interfered with by the bass, turn the bass back on, see how it changes. Then I can use a variety of sidechaining solutions, known solutions, and I've been using, like I just said, Duck Buddy. It's been really good, especially with the look ahead. But I have become aware of another sidechainer. I think it's been mentioned a few times in chat, and I saw someone mention it today out and about. Someone wanting to do like amplitude modulation kind of sidechaining. I know Nest Acoustics has talked about it. Anyway, Baraska has made this plugin, this Max for Live plugin, which is also available on Plug Data, so it's multi-platform as well. You can use it on other DAWs. And I've just figured out how to use it after watching his video. His video is amazing. He's only got 4 videos on his YouTube, and one of them he just explains how he made it with 2 jobs, and in his break time he figured out how to use Maxwell Live just so he could make this concept sidechaining thing. So it's basically it's volume shaping sidechain like Duck Buddy is, and like loads of others on the market, but also in the same plugin, it's ring modulation sidechain. And what it does is it lets more of the signal through when there's a kick, so you can hear more of the bass or whatever you're trying to duck behind it, because it fills in the gaps. When the kick is cycling, there's like quiet bits of the kick, and it fills those in with sound from what you're trying to sidechain. So the overall sound of it is more transparent, and you get less of the ducking effect, which sometimes you want it to maximum headroom and least artifacts, you don't want it to duck and pump sometimes. So Yo-Yo Sharky. I have not tried Surge XT yet, CZ8. I cannot remember what Surge XT was again. Was it? Oh yeah, no, I haven't tried that. No. I think you may have recommended that a while ago. Redso98, thank you for following. Yeah, so I just watched Baraska's video on this, and he explains how he used it, because when I tried to fiddle around with it on my own, I could get it working the first time, and the second time it didn't work. Maybe it was just a little error or something. But anyway, I've just created some test material. So it's basically just an FM bass and a kick. We want to compare volume shaping versus RM sidechaining and what it does to the shape of the kick. So this is with nothing. In fact, I might just switch on a sub. So this is more. So this phasing is more pronounced. Let's have a look. Yeah, so we're getting like this peak is nearly going to 0 dB, so that would distort that, and if we mute it, we can see it goes back to just a normal kick. So what we want to do in this situation is preserve the shape of this kick if we can, while still having the bass there as well. So yeah, the first way of solving this is volume shaping. So we turn on the volume shaper, and so that's no volume shaping. I've put in a shape here. Now if we turn this volume shaping on with envelope depth, it's going to look like this now. So we've got the original shape of the kick, and then the bass fades in. But you can sort of hear the bass sound, the bass ducking, because it's going to 0 dB every time it's on. See, it's going to 0 there, where the transient is of the kick. This is just the bass solo that you can see here. And as we change the shape of this envelope, it changes. You can see it reflected there. So it's ducking out of the way for the kick, and when I unmute the kick, you can see it layers back in. So it does perfect job if you want to this is how I've been working for years. This is how I do sidechaining. But now let's turn that off and go to that ring modulation sidechaining. This and turn it on. So this is without, as you can see, massive peaks, because the bass is summing with the kick. So you get these like nearly 0 dB spikes, which can distort and in an undesirable way. So let's turn the envelope on for this ring modulation sidechain, RM sidechain, and watch what happens to the waveform. It goes back to the shape of the kick, but what does it sound like? It still sounds like it ducks a bit. Have I done this right? Wait. Oh, right, okay. So, I know I did that wrong. Right. Let's try again. So, no ducking. And now I'm going to turn up the RM depth to 100%. And you can see that kick shape has been restored. Those big peaks have gone away. And, you know, the sort of distortion. That's some of the bass sneaking through in between the bits of the kick. Yeah, and so it's got like this distortion sound, and you can tweak this with smoothing. So smoothing, you see these white peaks here. This is the volume, this is the shape that the bass is following. Let's see, it starts at 0, goes down to accommodate for the kick, and then just fills in with these little spikes, fills in the gaps between the kick, and then when the kick's finished, it goes back to full volume again. So, as you know, you can hear this bump, like this distortion sound. Will it? Oh yeah, that needs to be on for that. Post mix away. Can we turn it to pre-effects? Yeah, you can hear it. So the kick is muted now, and you can hear just the bass with the RM sidechain processing, and it sounds like this. So you might not want, that's another artifact, but let's turn the smoothing on, and that goes down a bit, and then if we put the kick back in again, compared to volume, just plain volume shaping, it's a little bit faster, and the bass ducks a bit less. So, but you've got these artifacts. So this is why Baraska has put these both methods in the same plugin, because when you do them together, you get this, like, you get the best of both. So reduce the RM sidechain depth, increase the envelope depth, so they both work together, and then you kind of get this barely, it doesn't duck as much as it would, you know, just volume shaping. So I've just finally learned how to use this tonight. I already understood the concept, but I think the Baraska sidechainer plugin, I couldn't quite get my head around it at first, but now I watched the tutorial, it makes sense. And I think I will be trying this. You know, it's another tool in the box for solving those pesky sidechain problems when mixing dance music, and you want your kick to be as clear as possible, and for that you want your bass to duck out of the way, but you don't want your this nice rhythmic bass that you've got, you don't want it to go all the way to 0 sometimes. You want to actually hear some of the mid frequencies as well as when the kick occurs. So with a combination of volume shaping and RM sidechain shaping, I think that it might just help a little bit. Well, technically it will help, like it is. So I'm glad I've just learned this tonight, because it's another tool in my box. There it is. It's all there, ready to go. I had to just make this video. I had to do my own test, because, you know, side-scope is really important for me to test if a sidechain is actually working, because, you know, the transient of a kick and a snare, I want to be really clear and not interfered with by the bass. And there's, you know, there's ways of solving that, but you have to. There's also compromises, you know. If you go all the way to 0 with your bass sine wave, just to let a transient through, then that has, you know, you have to ramp down to it, or you're gonna get 2 transients because you get the, if you come too fast out of a space sine wave and drop to 0, you're gonna get a click. So, and that will sound like a transient as well as your kick transient, and then back up again. So yeah, there's all these trade-offs, but it's worth it if you're trying to solve a problematic mix. Things like this that really help. That was my short talk on Baraska sidechain. But like I say, I've been using Duck Buddy for a long time. Kickstart. Someone mentioned Kickstart as well. I think I looked at that. Kickstart 2. Oh yeah. Did Kickstart add the pre-delay yet? Because you must have the in my own humble opinion, what do you call it? Look ahead and ramp down. So Duck Buddy has that, and there weren't many commercial plugins that actually had it built in. Duck Buddy, there's Duck Buddy 2 now, which integrates look ahead with the ramp, because it's a bit pointless having just a look ahead and not actually putting a ramp to the look ahead. So the new one combines both, and in Baraska actually has it already in one fader there, so we can put this up to 10 and it will do magic as well. Watch. Why is that? Okay, that wasn't. It's doing a. Yeah, you can see the end of the previous wave going down to meet 0, so that this transient here isn't interfered with. That's how important it is. If you take it off, if you take pre-fade off, as it's called in this plugin, the transient moves. It's probably not that easy to show on this. That is the shape of the transient without it, and with it. It's not that drastic on this particular scenario. Yeah, Kickstart. So this is my problem with all the commercial ones. They don't have the look ahead. I think it was Shaperbox that added a longer look ahead, because they had 6 milliseconds, which was, if you've got just a plain sine wave and you do a 6 millisecond ramp from full volume to 0, you'll get a click. But if you go from 12 or 15 or 20 milliseconds, you'll be a lot smoother, and you'll hear a lot less of a click. You won't, you know, when there's other sounds, you won't even hear it. Traction, thank you for following. Not MIDI. Oh yeah, it's not MIDI. See, I think that's another reason why the ones that aren't MIDI, it's more important to have a look at, because I think the Shaperbox one has a 20 millisecond processing time to look ahead. It doesn't add delay, but it's just their algorithm needs 20 milliseconds of audio to determine if a transient's occurred. but I think you still need the ramp down thing so that your bass is ramping down by the time the transient occurs. Depends on style of production, yeah, because obviously you might want the pump. You might want the pre-pump as well, a really big pre-pump and post-pump. Like in the style of Nick the Lot. It's Nick the Lot, isn't it? D&B producer. He just pumps out the maddest tunes, and nearly all of them are like, every time there's a kick and a snare, the whole tune disappears. It's amazing. Definitely got his style going there. Yeah, so Baraska, what was I doing? Surge XT. Baraska sidechain of 3. Yeah, it's free. What was I going to say about it? I can't remember. Oh, it's name a price. Oh yeah, that's it. So there is a sidechainer for plug data, which is multi-platform, and it looks like that. For some reason, it looks totally different because it's done in a different, like Max for Live is like a a plugin maker essentially for Ableton, whereas plug data is like a universal plugin maker, and it works on all platforms. So you would just download this and load plug data on your as a VST, or I think it's VST, or AU if it's on Mac, I don't know. And then within plug data load this. Well, there's loads of mad stuff, mad free plugins that people have made in plug data as well. A 10 millisecond look ahead. It's mad because I used to use 12 because 12 was the smoothest sounding one in Duck Buddy, and have a ramp going down at 12 milliseconds as well. But recently I've just been using 5, and 5 sounds fine because I'm making loud music, and I'm not even ducking to 0 anymore all the way to infinite. I'm going like minus 12 is pretty good because it you can still hear the signal behind the kick. But if you want something severe, you look at minus 24. But it depends on your mix. Depends what's going on in the tune. Yeah. So yeah, that's the world of sidechaining has a new. It's not even new. I mean, I know people have been wiring up DAWs to do this kind of automatically, but yeah, you can create like an effects chain that does amplitude modulation based on a sidechain input, and it's doable in different ways. But this guy's doing it all in one. Right, I'm gonna talk about something else now. Let's load up something. While we wait, what shall we do? I bought a fast computer, but some projects just don't load fast. There's just a universal speed limit of being able to load information into the RAM. Okay, so we're going to delete this. I'm just going to keep the beat. were you just here, Johnny? Because I literally was just talking about that exact subject. Yeah, I was talking about side chaining. How are you with your side chaining? Do you do side chaining? You were here, Miles. You just saw it. I kind of like tried to do it so I could edit it later. All right, okay, Kickstart 2. Because Kickstart 2 doesn't have a look ahead, does it? It doesn't have I mean, I'll have a look ahead for the kick trigger, the depth and all. Don't get depth and lower and rumble. Rumble. What kind of music do you make? Phase inversion, then cutting. Interesting. Afro house. Ah. I mean, is it like bass? Are there like quite low basses occurring quite a lot of the time over the kicks, under the kicks? Right. Well, yeah, I know that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. Phase inversion. Yeah, I think because right one thing I'll tell you what for D&B, right, and even for dubstep, which is slower, obviously. There's like um one way of if you don't want your kick to interfere with your bass, and you're already sidechaining a bit. You know, if you have a way of ducking your bass whenever a kick occurs, you part the way there. Um, but I've one really good tip, golden tip. When I found this out, I thought I was onto like, well, I still do. I feel like I'm almost there at cracking like the sort of DMB production uh, secrets. It's not a secret. Um, yeah, basically a kick, right? It doesn't need to be half a second long. It doesn't need to be a quarter. A kick can just be the the shortest thud, but because it's shorter, you've got more room for bass, right? There's more time for your bass to vibrate the air, and you can get away. It's amazing what you can get away with. You can put the end point for your kick sample or whatever you're using to generate a kick. You can shorten it so that it cuts off a lot, so the tail cuts off a lot sooner, and you'll still get a big thud. Um, in a it still is loud because at whatever frequency it's occurring, and it makes when you do sidechain with a kick that short, your sidechain duck only has to go down for a short, it only has to. Sorry, I not got the words. Doesn't have to go down for as long, and so more of your bass's sound is retained, even the mids in the bass as well, which is sometimes part of the groove. And yeah, that's like a game changer for me. That because I was like, why does everything sound thundery and muddy down there? And there's lots of reasons. Mainly your kick and your bass kicking taking up the same space, but it's like this constant battle of balance between kick and bass. And there's loads of little techniques and tools. I mean, your tools you learn. It's about you want to just solve using different techniques. You're a balance between your kick and your bass, don't you? So keep the punch, let the bass take the space. That's good. Regia. That's good. Good way of thinking about it. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, isn't it? That's exactly what you need to do. So yeah, if you does sound like you've done a degree in it, Roger. There, better off shelf stuff instead of octave cuts causes phase issues. Yeah, yeah, that's true. You don't like gentle EQ most of the time, right? Unless it's like unless you've got some bad resonances in the snare, but even then, you've got to be like depends, doesn't it? Always keep low ending mono. Yes, Regia. So with that in mind, would you say aim for shaper box more than kickstart? If you're not in Ableton, if you're in Ableton, get Duck Buddy and get Baraska Sidechainer. If you're not, shaper box looks good. It's got a look ahead, or any other VST with a look ahead. So that your bass gets down in time for the kick snare transient. Kickstart is like a sidechain preset. It doesn't necessarily follow your tracks kick. Just thought I'd chime in. Nice one, Regia. Thanks for chiming in. I'll keep this one in mind. I'm gonna pin it. Keep the punch. Let the bass take the space. That's like that is a great guide. A simple guide to start with, I think. Yeah, it's a shame because that like, I mean, for some like happy hardcore or those just like trance where there's not really much bass, but there's all the basses in the kick. You can have these nice kicks with long tails that are their own all in one thing. It's like a kick and a bass rumble all in one. You'd even just sample a real drum kit and the tail on it will be so massive that if you put loads of compression and distortion on it, it'll probably take up a full beat length in a tune. You know, you can just do all the way through. But that's uncontrolled. Like I think even if I was recording a band, I'm sure that I would, that no matter how good the drum kit is and how many pillows, you'd probably need, if it was full of pillows, it would deaden it pretty quick, wouldn't it? But I bet there would still be a bit of a tail on there that would make me go, I just want to like gate that out, just a little, so it's a little bit shorter, give room for some bass. I don't know, it depends. I haven't recorded a band yet, so I don't know. But I have used like real drum kit sounds, and yeah, I wanted to control the length of the kick for sure. Baraska, or the one, yeah. Ridger, thanks for following. The two plugins, sorry, yeah. So Baraska Sidechainer and Duck Buddy. Duck Buddy here's Duck Buddy here. Look, I've got one triggered. This is the volume shape it triggers when there's a kick. It's listening for the to the kick MIDI channel, and this is the snare. Just listening to the snare MIDI channel. You can even, if you have a drum kit on one channel, you can just point it to drums and then point it to the sample, the slice of the drum kit, and have it trigger that. It's really useful. It's free as well. This Dog Buddy 2 isn't free, but this has everything. Slightly buggy sometimes with the look ahead and stuff, but yeah, I always test it. If I'm doing a final bounce, I just test it with side scope just to make sure that kick is ducking and the snare is and the bass is coming back up out of the duck in a way that's not creating peak, like distortion peaks where the phase of the kick and the bass overlap and cause a massive wave that like hits 0 dB. Oh, foghorns. You should make sample packs. Oh my god, yeah. I think if I had to, I'd have to be more organised. I think maybe I can over time. I've collected a lot of sounds. But thank you, said Zeno. Zeno? Zivno. Did I say it right? Johnny Hartman. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for following. Yeah, good luck with it. Yeah, just any questions, shoot them over, because happy to help. Something to go with, isn't there? So currently on this project, I have got a little bit of snare, duck buddy at -10, going to -10. This duck with a 5 millisecond slope. Look ahead, just sloping in nicely, and the kick is -19 with a similar shape of. I drew these in. Well, the envelope shapes that come with it. I just wish there was a few more points, because I always have to add like extra ones. But yeah, it's a free plugin and it's amazing. So, and I've complained about this before, about there's no VST ones on the market. I think Shaperbox okay, and there is another one that I have look ahead, and I complain about it. I'm like, these are the best on the market and they're free, donation. Which reminds me, I must donate to Duck Buddy, up to Slink, who made Duck Buddy, because I've used this plugin an awful lot. Not made more than a few pennies from streams, but getting considering I'm paid for Ableton, and Serum, I should at least send this guy like a bit of dollars. Okay, so yeah, I've got this template set up, and at the moment I'm just messing with Serum 2. So Serum 2. I know I love Serum 2 so far. I think it's amazing. I've been doing so many crazy sounds with it, and there's a new track because it can do the multi-sample. That changes. Like, I do a lot of pitch LFOs. Pitch LFOs. So, and what I wanted to do was layer. I just had this idea, now Serum 2 exists. I wanted to use an old bass patch of a tune I was working on. I saved it and then opened Serum 2 and loaded that patch up, and then used the pitch envelope to control, instead of controlling wavetable and sine wave, saw waves, I chose the choir multi-sample, because in my head I could hear the bass sample that I made, which had this pitch LFO, and I was like, wouldn't it sound good if I could layer that with a massive choir, like a heaven and hell kind of gates choir. And so I was like, oh, like, I know there's a choir in multi-sample, so I just tried it and it sounded great. Cue my voice, can't beat it. There's not any other. I could use. There's no other way of doing it. I would to follow that exact pitch LFO in anything other than Serum would have meant I would have had to guess it. I don't think there's any way it would have matched it, exactly. It doesn't always have to. I mean, you can get it pretty close, but I could have used Contact, or I could have used the choir in Contact, or even the choir in Ableton, and just put like some pitch envelope drawn in some other way and made that track the bass. But that would have taken a lot, like 100 times fucking longer. All I did was load it up in Serum 2 to mute all the oscillators and put a choir on it, choir R's, choir U's, tried a few different ones. I'm like, no way, that actually does sound better. So yeah. Johnny Hartman, the DMP production scene Seen his mad and massively respect productions are top when it's kick and bass. Yeah, yeah, it's always, but yeah, I love it. Um, just trying to figure it out as well. Hearing these mad tunes, and there's so much going on in some of them, and you're trying to, like, as a producer with all these tools in front of you that can do it. You're just like, how are they doing it? You know, you're just like spending forever figuring it out. It's something I've always loved, like reverse engineering, even though it's frustrating at times. The rewards are good. Cheers for your time, Johnny, as well. Thanks for chatting. Yeah, please do. Test run, yeah. Your old patch, yeah. So the old patch, yeah, upgraded it definitely, and used serum, used what I knew was possible with serum. I was like, shit, I could actually do that with serum. It's like having an idea, a concept. Before serum 2, I would have had that idea and just gone, oh no, that would take too long. I'd have to load it into bloody Contact and, you know, somehow draw a volume shape, a pitch modulation shape in there, and it's just not as fun. Takes the fun out of it. But if you can get the results in 5 minutes, which I did with Sim 2, I love that. I love that. Like, you could have an idea and, you know, actually something that can turn it into reality. That's great. Sim 2 is making dreams reality. So yeah, have you been making stuff on it? I think this was the Serum 2 is Turing complete. Wouldn't surprise me, actually. Like, just it's a large language model, but instead of language, it's sounds. Wait, what's language? Harmony? Large music model? No. But yeah. You could ask it, do you exist, or something. I don't know what the Turing test is. I can't remember what. I think all the AIs can now pass the Turing test, can't they? So they're trying to, like, think of harder things. All the large language models. Right, let's do a totally different bass. I don't know what I want to start with. I used to just do an init preset in Serum, and then I usually would have an idea of what I wanted before I start. So if I had no ideas, I'll just put everything to sine waves and just FM. So we'll do that. Now get another one. See? Oh. So got volume LFO1 in my initialization patch is always tuning. So I can have like a doof. I don't have that on every track though. That's not what I expected. Very noisy. I have no idea what I'm doing, by the way, just letting you know. Let's do this. Sync here. I don't know what I'm going for. When I play the beat, it doesn't sound like it. Maybe that it does. Wow. Wow, but it kind of lacks. It's lacking something, like something a bit more like whistly. But whenever I turn this LFO up, it sounds weird. Like that. Maybe. Apparently you can FM from envelopes you've already FM'd into. When I was like, isn't that going to create some kind of feedback loop? This is what it's going to sound like. It won't work. Some weird stuff happening there. distortion. Yeah, just retry that. Distortion. How did evening, Jacob? How did you get the rolling liquid drums? Been playing around, can't get it. Okay, so let's go through them. So sample from that was Loop Cloud sample, layered with high passed or high shelved. It actually is already weirdly. I downloaded this sample for inspiration. I used to not download samples, drum loops, because I was like, oh, that's just a drum loop with a high pass, right? But then I was like, I'm gonna download it because it's like inspiration. It's already got part of the work done for me. So without the EQ, it sounds like that. There is a kick, you can hear a kick, but it's obviously been high passed out. So I just got it, used it, and then I was like, you know what? I just want more than anything. I just want the hi-hats. So that's that. So far we've got those two, which layer nicely together. And they're on loops. They're specific loops of a bigger drum loop. They're just repeating like 4 beats. And then I had my own snares, which I recorded in this room with a snare drum. Rim shots. You recorded loads of rim shots, and this is all of them there. It's all slices. Well, it's pointing to slices and pointing to drum rack, and I've just chosen to play these two together. Which where are they? Fold. So it's this one. Why is that not working? Okay, that one's silent for some reason. It's just this one. Which when we play it on its own, and we play it at the right pitch, sounds like that. Not a bad sound. Not the worst recording, even though my recording equipment isn't the best. It was enough to, pitch up and make and use it as a layer. So it really might be too much. It might be too much of a transient. It definitely makes the drum sound crisp. Hums XYZ, thanks for following. This is awesome. I have to get back to work, unfortunately. I hope to catch you again. I hope to catch you again too, Hum XYZ. Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, definitely. Drums, something I kind of, producers do talk about layering a lot, and it's definitely good advice. I think whenever I layered stuff, it always sounded kind of good, but too full. Like there's too much going on. So that's what I think, so you want each layer to occupy, obviously, this lower layer. This is more about the kick and a nice gentle snare, rim shot, like a really sort of quiet one. And then when you put that over the top, it becomes like this super, and then it's probably enough like that, but then I have to put my extra snappy snares in there to layer it, and it just so happened to just worked when I did it this time. Because the samples aren't always usable, so obviously there's one kick in this 4 beat loop here, just a kick at the start, but the rest of the sample, if I drag it out, has these other sounds in. There's a traditional 2-step, so didn't want the extra weight of a second kick in there. So yeah, I just used and looped the first 4 beats. Sounds a bit... I'm not that happy with it because it does sound like a bit weird when this loops. Okay, it sounds like the last hi-hat kind of stopped short or something. Don't know what's happening there. But I'm also not too worried at this stage, even though I'm in the mindset of trying to get the samples right from the start. You can't always know. So that it's easy to mix later, but drums are easily replaceable. So this is kind of just like a sketchbook template set of drums right here. I've just been doing various basses and saving them, bouncing them and then deleting the basses and then putting some new ones in and trying stuff with those. And yeah, the extra hat. I hear it in so many tunes. Like that's one of the things I've kind of worked out about a lot of D&B, not all of it, maybe half of it, especially older stuff as well. The layers of the drums, when you get that sheen, that airy sheen on top, and some nice high, like samples with some nice airy kind of non-harsh cymbals at the top. And it's always, I've always struggled to find the samples to do that myself. So, you know, to do it sample hits with sample hits. So to use drum loops like this, probably made by someone with access to big studio with drum kit and knowledge of how to play a drum kit and what cymbals make the best sounds and all that kind of stuff. Got to outsource it sometimes, you know. Someone with more high-end hearing than I've got, because I've been to many raves and kind of I can't trust the very highest of my frequencies. But even if I could, I would still probably use someone else's hi-hat sample because they have the gear. So yeah, that's my drums for now. But oh yeah, I was doing this weird bass. The feedback. Distortion built in, this per oscillator distortion. How convenient is that? Tube. Here we go. Don't know what I'm doing. Let's put some reverb on it. Let's like do a one shot like space maker. I don't know. Call it what you want. Let's do this in one shot. Oh, let's do this lower high splitter. One of the most coolest things in Ableton. Just process the top. Wait. If I can just get rid of that distortion, that crisp. Yeah, I can. It's back again. Optrix. Ops. Hello. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you? OPX trick. See now the options for basses to follow this with. There's loads. There's like just a or see what I've got in the laser banks. It said laser banks. Should I just load a laser? No, I'll go to bass and we'll go to D&B. Pitch wobbles. Mean jungle phaser. Is this the one? Yeah, that's the one. That's not the one. It sounds so distorted. Is it because I've got a... it's because I've got a clip shifter on. Why have I put that on? Right. That's why it was all distorting before. So we're going way too loud into the master. Oh yeah, look, 27. How did you guys hear me before? Way too much. L2. Whoa. Where do you start with drum and bass beats? I've been making rap beats for 7 years. Need D&B tips. Beats. That's how jungle started, from sampling hip hop, which sampled soul tunes. You know, the funky drummer. I would say D&B and jungle. I would say if you come in from rap, you should fucking sample just try and make some jungle with an aim and break. It's a good way to get into it. But yeah, no, if you're making like D&B, kind of clean D&B, then don't know, get some drum loops, which wasn't always my advice. I used to be allergic to drum loops. I always wanted to make my own, and you should make your own as well. You should make your own and use drum loops and layer them up like this. I've got 3 layers here. That drum loop, this drum loop, which is just for the hi-hats, and then my own little snare sample to add a really sharp transient. It might be too sharp, but at this point I'm just making sketches, so it's okay. So yeah, any tips? Every day practice making a bass in Serum or Vital or whatever wavetable synthesizer that you're using, or Ableton's operator. Just make and save a bass batch every day. Just even have a drum in ready from the previous day, where you can just delete the bass out that you made the previous day and just reuse the same drum loop to save time. So even if you only do it for 10 minutes a day, you're like practicing making drum loops, and then you get really good at it. Yeah, aim and breaks is like the heart and soul of I get when I hear jungle played and it's an amen, any jungle, like good jungle, but yeah, the amen is always, you gotta have an amen in there somewhere in style of respect. Like, you can't play a whole jungle set and not play an amen at least once. Yeah. Yeah, amens are like soul food. They're like just it's just such a good drum break. It inspires really great music to be made around it, and that inspires therapy on the dance floor when people congregate, travel out. We're all there together. After making that journey, well, even you could listen to it at home as well, and in your ears or wherever. But when you can dance to it, it's a special thing. This is just accidentally turned into a cheeky tune with this little. I just have that little move. Something like that. Maybe you need a different sound. Ooh. Duplicate that. Yeah, aim and breaks is good. What else is another good break? It's got to be the think break. Is it think break? That's you bet it is. Yeah. Think break, the Apache. I've not really used the Apache much. I did when I did the Aphex Twin cover, because Aphex Twin used sample the Apache break, so it was good to get that snare sound just right. I have a sample pack. It's not mine. In fact, thanks to this live stream, it's been great because people have suggested resources for samples. And Reddit, there's a particular Reddit subreddit that had the exact sample that I wanted. Was it Junie's Drum Collection, D&B Essential Drum Breaks? So it's like all the classic ones, because I don't know where all mine went. I had a load I've collected. So Lynn Collins, think about it. This one, the Think Break. but it's actually more than just this. There's I think 4 separate drum solos in Lynn Collins. I think it's called Think About It. And that I don't think is the best. I think it's got the best vocal shouts. But there are other ones. Like I used to have all 4. Think Brick. Fool's Gold. Yeah. Garnet Silk. Have you? OPX Trip. Nice. I don't know Garnet Silk. Hook. This is another thing I love about Jungle and D&B. All the music I listen to going to school, walking to school. I had a mile, so I had a nice 20 minutes of listening. I could walk slower, listen to more. Walk all the way inside the school, sit at the desk and still have it in an ear every minute. And I was hearing all these sounds, didn't know what they were, liked the sounds. And yeah, it turns out they're from other songs. And then when you look into that, you're like, oh my god, the originals are like special in their own way, aren't they? They're amazing pieces of music, and that's why people have sampled them, because it's just amazingly soulfully played drums and passionate, like, shouts. In my YouTube PX trick. Have a listen if you want. Sorry for the self-log. No probs. Let me just... Right. PX... Oh. Let's go on tube. PX trick. Patrick, and it's obviously Patrick. I've just figured it out. X. Which one? Complaint. Complaint. Click. But he's probably on. You've made lots of tunes. Complaint.
Let down be praise and wicked men scatter. Listen to Mojo and Archangel. Oh yes.
Wrong they complain. Even if we call the Father's name, it's the same what they want.
Oh shit. I've got to go soon, so don't everyone start requesting tunes, please. Because that's what happens if I play one. Feedback. Oops. Love the vibes. Like it sounds really, everything sounds really clean and clear. Great vibes. Apart from one thing. Like you have to have good taste in music to make jungle, because you have to like. I've got my own taste in music. And I love jungle, but I wouldn't know to sample whoever you've sampled here. Garnet Silk. I'd never heard that name until today. But it's the kind of shit I love. Like, I just love this stuff. I love dancing to it. I love listening to it. I can't make it. I don't make it because I don't have that knowledge of the original, that you're sampling. So I love it. Yeah, good structure. But your kick sounds distorted, and it sounds like it's distorting everything else behind it. Like the kick's going too hot into the master with everything as well. So it's just, it sounds like it's distorting the vocal a bit as well. So I think the kick is just a bit too loud. I think you could probably just turn the kick down and it would, like a few dB, and it would solve it. But then you might want the transient from the kick, in which case I would just roll off the bass. I would just turn the sub-bet, use a low shelf or something to just take, or maybe not even a low shelf, just like where the kick is peaking, like the fundamental frequency of the kick, just put a low peak, just cut there, not a sharp one. Like, in fact, not as wide as possible, but obviously you might only need to drop it like 2 dB or 3 dB. So I don't know how loud did you master this. It does sound very distorted though, like overall. In a genre where see, it sounds like you're going for, you know, like a ragga jungle thing where the kick is really big and the snare's really big as well. Like, you know, like Aries or who's that one who always, Benny Page. If you're going for that, then you kind of do want like a big kick, don't you? So, and if you are having a kick that big, you probably want to be doing lots of little things to the other sounds, a bus with all the other sounds in, EQ dips at the kick fundamental, and a bit of side chaining with the kick and the snare, EQ dips with the snare fundamental as well, so that there's room for the kick and the snare, more room for it, and so that there's not as much signal going into the master and distorting. Oh, you laid a kick over the loop, which I shouldn't have, at least, as it distorted it. Yeah, I mean, you can layer a kick, but you just have to keep in mind that you might need to filter a lot, some bits of the kick, some frequencies of the kick out of the way, because there are already some in the drum loop, or vice versa. But side chaining, oh yeah, maybe you would just filter all the just high pass or low shelf, the drum loop, all the bass frequency out of the way, and just have the ones from the kick sample that you put in. But that kick, I wanted to look at it on I mentioned this earlier on in a live stream. So another way to control the energy of your kick is shorten the end of the sample so that it's like half the length, because this looks like, for D&B, quite a long kick you've got there. You could get away with halving the length, so from there to there, I'm guessing that's, does it say how many milliseconds it is there? Position 710. 10 of, yeah, so that's 300 milliseconds. Doesn't need to be that long. See this? It's already hit the lowest. It's not quite the lowest frequency by halfway through. So this bit at the end, this tail, I'd say you can get away with trimming it off completely. So if you just trim your kick sample, you'll have a lot more. Your bass will have a lot more room. Not a lot more, but this will, whenever the kick does occur, it'll interfere less with the bass. Yeah, and I'm also looking for here the level, just how loud the kick is, because it sounds like a very loud thud. See that note there? That's where the most distortion is, because that low bass note is above the kick. Now, ideally, you would want your kick fundamental to always be above the bass. Ideally, it's not always possible, so then you have to do other things to kind of stop these waves interfering with each other. So yeah, I would shorten the kick. You might want to put a tiny bit of side chain in. I would shorten the kick, maybe even cut some of the bass out of the kick, I don't know. Or a little bit of everything, so that no one thing is, it's, you know, if you spread the load over lots of different, you know, things, repair jobs, then what is even the word? Techniques. Then yeah, that's why I do. Like, if one thing doesn't work, just can't compromise sometimes between the two. Yeah, try that. Be interesting. Everybody should I know I don't believe in a rumor. Children are wrong, they complain. Even if we call the father's name, it's the same what they want to kick. Doesn't work too loud on him. It will definitely sound tighter anyway, for 100% sure. If that kick length is like half, yeah, it always does. You have more of the percussion side, and as someone said previously, I don't know if you were here, I pinned the comment, but it only pins for like 60 seconds. It was so great. I don't know, I need a way of saving comment. Keep the punch, let the bass take the space. And this guy just randomly came on, and it was exactly what I was trying to say. He said the perfect short one-liner. You want the kick to do the punch bit, and you want the bass to do the sustain. You don't want the kick to do that, do you? Unless you're making hip hop, where the kick has the bass built in, doesn't it? A lot of the time, traditionally has done, hasn't it? Anyway, hope that helps. Nice. I like the track though. I like the vibe. It is a bit like a ragga jungle. Yeah, we do have a Discord as well for feedback. If you want feedback, there's a feedback channel in it on this server. I probably need to renew the link again. Right. Invite people. Yeah, it's a new link. It looks new. So yeah, I'll just update the link again on my link tree. If you wanna join, you're welcome to. Zero Patrick, thank you for following. Oh, awesome! Yeah. just update it one sec. There we go. Where's it gone? Huh? Wait, something weird has happened. That's had 29 clicks. Continue. Finish set your Discord. What? I'm just going to add a new link because that was not what I thought would happen. Finish setting up to make your Discord server. Link settings. Direct access, yeah. Oh, coming soon. Got ideas? No, I just want it normal, mate. They've changed it. Okay, that's really confusing. That couldn't be more confusing, in fact. Right, anyway, the link works. That's crazy. That just some things I cannot do while on a live stream. This would be one of them. Couldn't get my brain around it. Bright light as well. Awesome. It'd be good to see that. Yeah, you've got a lot of tunes there. You got a lot of tunes, mate. Oh yeah, so shit, I've got to go. So I've got to finish this tonight's project, which was just add one more bass, basically. That's just an option for now. Duplicate again. Just need another like growly thing. It is easy to start with one that I've already made and tweak it. What I'm trying to do, right, a long-term goal. I wish it was a medium-term goal, but for me to achieve this goal, I need to methodically categorize the archetypes of every single type of drum and bass, and maybe even dubstep bass as well, because there's lots of similar ones. So, you know, I need Reese's, I need FM, I need foghorns, I need to actually work out the main archetypes of bass. There are some which just stand in their own, like, you know, the bass. I don't know if you know, this old Ronnie Size tune called Snapshot. It sounds quite dated now, but he will still play it because it will get a cheer. And it's just a boom, 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 boom. But the actual sound is quite simple. But the way he's played it is interesting. But yeah, I don't know what category I'd put that into. I'm stuck. But there are some basses which can fall into a category, and I'll make my life simpler to choose a bass in the future. Like if I go in here and I can just go in bass, and I can go to Reese's. Why I've not even got a Reese's folder? Why not? Like a rave stab, rave. That rave. There's like a rave sound that uses a Juno, and I've not even got that properly. Did I make that? Well, let's have a look. But that's not what I want. I've got to finish this project quickly. Whoa. You know. There's the foghorn I used the other day. Pitch down. Oh, what's this? Oh yeah. User bass. Wob step. Belgium lasers. I think this is. Yeah, I've used that a lot now. I can't remember how I made this bass. I think it was partly from a tutorial because it's a resampled wavetable that it was probably like a super growl tutorial or something. But have I used it in a tune that's been successful? Do I really want to use? Does it have to be? It doesn't have to be successful. It doesn't matter. No idea. That sounds like a fart. Did make a good one the other day. What was it? Not bad, not bad. Control Shift S. Gotta think of a name. Begin with Q. Oh, I hate anything past the letter Q. A Q is. Wait, ST. Yeah, as soon as you go past the letter T, it's quite hard to think of words, which is why I will use. Looks like Q. There are no words beginning with Q. It's because I've got an ad blocker. I know. Words beginning with. If I had a begging with Q. If I had a paper dictionary in front of me, would it be faster? Quiz. Have I not used that word before? Don't know. Quibble. Let's do quibble. I feel like this bass could do with a bit of. I don't usually use OTT, but I'm going to use it now. And it's probably going to make the reverb sound huge. Maybe we can put it above. Lots of movement in the basses. Favorite thing to do with the sing. So. Yeah, so much fun. I've not tried out these LFOs yet. Not even. it the other way around. Yeah, and then I'm signing off. There's something missing from that, though, isn't there? There is just one little bass, just one little foot. Bounce. All in a day's, well, probably took an hour to do that. If I wasn't talking, I could probably do it in like 20 minutes. Ideally in 10 minutes. Right. I've got to be up in the morning. I'm going to say bounce this and then go. Thank you for joining us. Share music on the Discord. Thanks for sharing everything. Suggestions, feedback, sample sharing on there as well on Discord. Right, take care, guys. See you soon. Oh, Audio K9. Thanks for following. Link in bio and all.